Hello everyone. So in the last lecture, we did some rules related to adjectives. Now in today's lecture, we will continue further and do some more important rules and even solve a few questions related to adjectives. So let us start without any further delay. Farther and further. Farther means more distant, whereas further means something in addition. For example, Allahabad is farther from Jaipur than Agra. So, here distance is meant. Next, this must be finished without further delay. Moving on, nearest and next. Nearest denotes distance or space. It means the shortest distance away, whereas next denotes position. It refers to one of the sequence of things coming one after the other. For example, the nearest post office is a mile down the road. My brother lives in the next house, and so on. Now, next, latter and later. So, as you all know, late has two comparatives and two superlative degrees, both having different meaning. So, the first one is late, later, latest. So, it refers to time, whereas the next one late, latter and last. This denotes position. So, this is important. So, later and latest refers to time, whereas latter and last denotes position. So, for example, what is the latest news? He is later than expected. Next, the latter portion of the book is rather difficult. The last story is the most interesting, and so on. Next, foremost and first. Now, foremost means the best or the most important in a top or leading position in a group of people or things. So, foremost is someone most prominent in rank, importance or position. For example, Mr. Kapoor is one of the foremost authorities on animal protection plan. Now, next, first means coming before all others or something that has not happened before. So, for example, Rahul arrived first at the party. So, here first means coming before all others. Next, Mr. Kapoor is the first person to start a trust to protect stray animals. So, here the sentence means that Mr. Kapoor is the first person to do something that has not happened before, that is starting a trust to protect stray animals. Moving on, few, a few and the few. So, few is basically used for countable nouns and it basically denotes numbers. So, few, a few and the few, it is very important. It is frequently asked in exams. So, mark this as very important. Now, few means not many, hardly any. So, few has a negative meaning. Few persons can keep a secret. So, it means hardly any of them can keep a secret. Few men reach the age of 100 years. That means hardly any of them reach the age of 100 years, they die before it, and so on. Now, a few means some, so it has a positive meaning. For example, there were a few parents present, so it means some parents were present, not all of them were absent. Next, the doctor advised me to take rest for a few days. So, basically the doctor advised me to rest for some days. Now, next, the few. The few, it means not many but all of them. For example, The few remarks that he made were very suggestive. Next, he lost the few friends he had. This one meaning already he did not had many friends. Supposingly, let us say he had 2 friends. So, he lost those 2 friends also. Next, the few clothes they had were all tattered and torn. Now, next, little, a little and the little. So, little is basically used for uncountable nouns and for quantity. So, again this is very important. It is frequently asked in exams. Now, little. Little means not much, hardly any. It has a negative meaning. For example, I cannot prepare tea for you because only little milk is in the refrigerator. So, this sentence means there is hardly any milk in the refrigerator, that is not sufficient enough to prepare tea. Next, there is little hope of his recovery. That means it is not likely for him to recover. Next, he has little appreciation of good poetry and so on. Next, a little. A little, it means some, though not much. It has a positive meaning. For example, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Now, next, a little tact would have saved the situation. Now, the little, it means not much, but all there is. For example, the little water that I kept for you is finished by him. So, that means already there was not much water, but whatever water that was left was finished. Next, the little knowledge of carpentry that he possessed stood him in good stead. Moving on, many, many are and great many. Again, mark this as important. So, many, it indicates number. It is used with a plural noun and a plural verb. So, keep this in mind, it is important. Many is always used with a plural noun and a plural verb. Next, many a or many and. So, many a means a large number. It is used with a singular noun and a singular verb. So, again mark this as important. Keep this in mind, many a is used with a singular noun and a singular verb. Moving on, a great many, it is followed by a noun and a verb in the plural form. So, a great many is used with a plural noun and a plural verb. For example, many persons have been suffering from malaria. Many a ship was sunk in the war. A great many persons have died at sea. So, as you can see, along with great many, the noun is plural. So, here the persons is plural and the verb is also plural. This is your verb, this is your noun. So, they both are plural. So, now let us solve a few questions. First, try to solve them on your own. I will give you some time to solve it, then later on we will discuss. So, here is the question, you need to find the grammatical error. Now, start solving. So, is it done? Now, let us tally. He is comparatively weaker in science than in any other subject. So, the error lies in option B of the sentence. The word weaker is the comparative degree of weak. Therefore, it is inappropriate to use comparatively and weaker together. So, we can either write weaker or comparatively weak. For example, this shirt is comparatively good than the other one, or you can say this shirt is better than the other one, but you can't say this shirt is comparatively better than the other one. So, that would be totally wrong. Therefore, coming back to the sentence, the use of comparatively weak is wrong, hence it should be replaced with weaker or weak to make it grammatically correct. Hence, the correct sentence would be, he is comparatively weak in science than in any other subject, or you can also say he is weaker in science than in any other subject. Now, moving on, next. So, is it done? Now, let us discuss. David is superior and richer than most of his friends in his village. So, the grammatical error lies in option A. So, now let us look at an important rule regarding the usage of preposition with some adjectives. So, the following adjectives are always followed by to and not than. They are junior, senior, superior, inferior, prior, anterior and posterior. I will repeat it again: junior, senior, superior, inferior, prior, anterior and posterior. Also, keep this in mind, if different prepositions are needed with different adjectives, suitable prepositions must be used with each of them respectively. So, in the above sentence, superior would be followed by preposition to. Hence, the correct sentence would be, David is superior to and richer than most of his friends in his village. Now, moving on, solve this. So, is it done? Now, let us tally. Of the two sisters, the elder is more religious. So, the grammatical error lies in option C. Definite article the is used with comparative degree, that is, the plus comparative degree is used when of the two plus plural noun is used. Hence, the will be used with more. So, the correct sentence would be, of the two sisters, the elder is the more religious, because here you can see of the two is used with a plural noun. Hence, the plus comparative degree form would be used. Now, moving on. Is it done? Let us discuss. No less than 100 people are sitting in the hall and waiting for the final performance. So, the grammatical error lies in option A. Less refers to quantity or size only. Less is used for uncountable nouns, whereas fewer denotes number. Fewer is used for countable nouns. So, in the above statement 100 people is countable, it is a countable noun. Hence, less would not be used, fewer will be used. So, the correct sentence would be no fewer than 100 people are sitting in the hall and waiting for the final performance. Now, moving on. So, is it done? Now, let us discuss. This candy is preferable than that and its taste is also comparatively good. So, the error lies in option B. We need to replace than with to. So, after words like prefer and preferable, preposition to is used, not than. So, the correct sentence would be this candy is preferable to that and its taste is also comparatively good. Moving on. Now, let us discuss. The doctor refused to give any medicine as there was a little hope for his recovery. So, the grammatical error lies in option B. A little means some. So, as we discussed earlier, it has a positive meaning. Hence, instead of a little, little should be used as a sentence has a negative meaning since the patient is not likely to recover. So, the correct sentence would be the doctor refused to give any medicine as there was little hope for his recovery. Moving on, solve this. Now, let us tally. It is a most absolute knowledge that Marvel comics are better than DC comics with the unique storylines. So, the error lies in option A. Now, absolute is an adjective that does not allow degree of comparison. We discussed this earlier also. Some adjectives do not admit any comparisons because their meaning is already superlative. For example, extreme, round, full and so on. So, the correct sentence would be it is an absolute knowledge that Marvel comics are better than DC with the unique storylines. So, we will hence remove most. So, moving on. He was the most excellent horseman and rode as if he were a part of the horse. So, the correct answer is option A. So, error lies in this option. So, most adjectives are gradable, that is we can have different levels of that quality. For example, a bit cold, very cold or extremely cold. But some adjectives are non-gradable, that is these adjectives describe absolute qualities. They already contain the idea of very in their definitions. For example, amazing, awful, boiling, enormous, excellent and so on. So, as per the rule, an excellent will be used instead of the most excellent. So, that would be removed, instead an would be used. So, the correct statement is he was an excellent horseman and rode as if he were a part of the horse. Moving on. Now, let us discuss the population of Delhi is greater than any town in Europe. So, the grammatical error lies in option B. So, the comparison is between population and not between population and town. Hence, the correct statement would be the population of Delhi is greater than the population of any town in Europe. Now, moving on. Let us tally the continuing announcements at railway platforms appealing to passengers to refrain from crossing the railway tracks and instead use the bridge have failed to curb the number of deaths while crossing the railway line or falling from the train's footboard. So, the grammatical error lies in option A. So, we will use continuous instead of continuing. Here announcement is a noun which is best qualified by an adjective continuous. So, the correct sentence would be the continuous announcements at railway platforms appealing to passengers and so on. So, that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's lecture. Thank you.